Ed's going to stick around and do his album, vinyl, and playlist, Ed.
Yes. Separate album and vinyl for this podcast. Album of the week is a band called Metric, who are Canadian, but please don't hold that against them. Metric have actually been around for the better part of the century. This is, I believe, their 5th or 6th album, Formentera, and I really like it. They have a very distinctive style. It capitalizes on a reasonable grasp of both electronics and instruments. And they have an exceptional vocalist who, embarrassingly, their name I can't remember even. But this is a really good listen. It has a 10-minute opening track, which is always a bold move, but it's an absolutely brilliant piece of work. Doom Scroller, which for those of us who are regular Twitter users will find a tremendously visceral experience. I really, really like this album. It's on all the major streaming services. As you can see, you can buy it on vinyl. There is the Metric site, which has a UK portal, so you can buy direct from the artist. And if you buy from a non-Prime based retailer, you also get to order it in a range of colors if that is your thing. So there's plenty of options. And obviously as well, if you're old school and you listen to it on CD, it's also available on CD as well, I need to stress. So I think that's well worth a listen. Vinyl. Now, I apologize in advance for this. This is an absolutely blinding album. It's by an artist called Ghost Woman, and the album is called Ghost Woman. The cover is aimed firmly at 13-year-old boys. I mean, it's sort of channeling the 70s, but it's just soft pornography, really. Please ignore the cover or look past the cover. This is an absolutely cracking listen. I absolutely love it. It channels the sort of mid-70s through to early 80s sort of, rough and ready sort of rock end of things rather than the glossy, overproduced stuff. I've thoroughly enjoyed listening to it. It's a real grower. You listen to it the first time, you think, yeah, that's all right. And then you find yourself going back to it and back to it and back to it. I cannot recommend it highly enough. I've taken a punt on it as the vinyl release because it's the sort of production that sort of benefits or works well as an analog pressing. It's not an artist I've ever purchased from before, so I can't vouchsafe for it being astonishing quality, but hopefully it will deliver. It's in the post. It hasn't yet turned up for me, for which I apologize. But it's a good listen. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Again, it's on all the major streaming services if you don't entertain analog, which is perfectly fair enough. Playlist of is a first time we are revisiting a playlist, because I haven't looked at Spotify in donkey's years, but I was testing a product with Spotify Connect and it was in my saved favorites, and I went back to look at it and I realized to my amusement it had been updating for 2 years. This is called Night Rider, and if petrol didn't cost enormous sums of money, this is music to drive around in the dark at speed. That pretty much tells you everything you need to know about it, really. But it has been updated quite routinely over the last God knows how long since I last mentioned it on the podcast. It's pretty samey. You have to sort of like electronic music for it to have any resonance at all. But I've enjoyed having it on in the background. I haven't actually done any driving, obviously, because that's an incredibly expensive business.
I had it on today when you put the link up this morning while I was writing, and I got 2,000 words done in half an hour. So I don't know if there were any good words, but I got 2,000.
Yeah. So that's there. It's one of those ones where you'll be able to pull a couple of artists out and then go on a bit of a dive of the other stuff that they've done. It's not epoch making, but it's a good listen. And if you are driving, do remember to be careful and watch your speed limits and use cruise control, because otherwise you may end up exceeding those speed limits.
Yeah. Right. For me, Manic Street Preachers covers. Didn't see that release coming, and it's okay.
I thought it was dreadful, but I felt it was important to flag.
I think you got to be a Manics fan maybe for some of them. I've been to a few live shows where they have done a lot of those covers, and
I do. I mean, the Bright Eyes cover is the Bright Eyed covers is so awful. It goes out the other end, and it's quite magnificent.
Yeah. So if you want to find out what we're talking about, go have a listen to that. It was released this week. I think it was a silent release because I didn't know it was coming until you sent me the link. So there you go. Any recommendations for music choices from David and Simon? David? You're on mute, David. Sorry.
Yeah. I'm the worst person. I'm an embarrassment to my children when I even talk about music. At the moment, I'm just having a look at what I'm listening to at the moment. I'm between. This will give you a good idea. Fleetwood Mac and Duran Duran at the moment. So that'll show you.
It's the dawn of the 80s.
Yes. Well, I'm a 70s born, but I guess I was listening to Cheese in the 80s.
Well, most of the gigs I've been to in the last 2 years have been 80s bands. So OMD. Who else have been to see? Bryan Adams and loads of them. We went to a couple of 80s festivals in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
With likes of Human League and I love that era. Absolutely love that era.
Yeah.
So, thumbs up from me. What about you, Simon?
I've been trying to let go of some of the stuff from the past and going to all the old, I was doing that for a long time. So I've started to, there's a band called Hamish Hawke. He's from up in Edinburgh, actually. There's a bit of a throwback to sort of some of the early Smith stuff. But yeah, it's a good band. They're not very big, but I've seen them a couple of times. They're doing some of the festivals this summer, so I like them.
Okay, yeah, I'll look them up. Have a listen to that.
The premise of Morrissey without the Morrissey, that's always an appealing idea, actually.
I'll agree with you there.
I agree with that.